Are you still going to feel this way in 20 years? You're not out of options. You're just out of the ones that you can see right now. I know this question usually shows up at night, and it's not a decision. It's not even a plan. It's just this quiet, uncomfortable presence when the house is finally still and there's nothing left to distract you from it. Is this actually over? Most men who carry that question aren't looking for a way out. They're not secretly plotting an exit or fantasizing about a different life. They're just exhausted. They have tried things that haven't worked, and they can't keep going the way things are. And they also can't quite see what's on the other side of that. So the question sits there, unasked and unanswered, and very heavy. In this week's episode, that's exactly where we're going to go. Not to answer the question for you, I can't. And anyone who tells you they can is just getting ahead of themselves. But a way for you to look honestly at what's underneath that question. Because in my experience, when a man asks, is this over? He's rarely just asking about the marriage. He's asking about something quieter and harder than that. He's asking whether something is wrong with him, whether the distance is evidence of something broken that can't be repaired, whether he's the kind of man who gets to have what he actually wants, or whether this disconnection, the loneliness, and the going through the motions is just what his life looks like now. That fear deserves more than a pat answer. There's also something I see consistently in men at this point that I'll talk about in the episode. It's when the thinking narrows. After years of low-grade pain, the options seem to collapse down to maybe one or two. Stay and suffer, or leave and lose everything. And inside that binary, there is no good move. What I've found is that binary isn't real. It just feels that way from inside it. One of the things I do with men carrying this question is ask them to think through leaving honestly. Now, let me be clear. This is not to push them toward it, but because something important happens when you actually look at an exit clearly. Grief surfaces. The real disappointment and anger and sorrow about how things got here, which has often been buried underneath years of managing and enduring. And alongside that grief, the middle ground comes back into view. Options that were always there, but had become invisible to you. The path forward isn't backwards. It's not going back to how things were 15 years ago either. That road led here, and here is not where you want to be. It's through something you haven't tried yet. That is what this week's episode is about. You'll find it at elisastoddard.com/podcast. You've been sitting with this long enough. If this landed for you, don't just let this be another thing that you listen to and then quickly moved on from. Book a 30-minute relationship clarity call with me. You can do that on the website. And we'll look at your specific situation honestly. What is happening? What is possible? And whether working together makes sense. Yes, I'll tell you about how I work. I'll also make sure you leave with more clarity than you came in with. You can book at the link below. Take care. We'll see you next time.